Yao. Polaris here, one half of Team Playground Rules.
And I'm Margaret. That was terrible. I'm the other half of Team Playground Rules.
And we out here. And we realized that folks don't know who we are, what we do. So we decided it was time to formally introduce ourselves and what the Playground Rules is all about. So they be seeing me with the cube all the time. What's up with the puzzle?
Well, I puzzle all the time. It's my zone of genius. I'm a problem solver. And so I realized that solving puzzles was the best way for me to solve problems.
Okay.
I don't know, without having to involve other people. No, I don't know.
I mean, like, you know what I realized? Like, it's
on a regular basis.
You're super calm when you're doing it. And that's what's up. That's me with the cube.
It's my zone of genius. We'll get into that a little later. So, we were both educators. Were you going to say something?
We are educators.
I mean, we are educators, but
we were both teachers.
There we go. In the traditional classroom. And we realized how much we didn't like it because it was so constricting.
1,000%. Yo, I'm telling you, when I was introduced to the Rubik's Cube, shout out to Brenda Sormo for putting the cube in my hand. It changed everything for me. It was like this enlightening moment. The sun came shining in a single ray into the classroom and landed on the Rubik's Cube. But like, it showed me like, I'm an MC and I freestyle. And when I'm freestyling, my brain works a certain way to do like that. That's exactly what it does.
Okay.
And people have asked me 100 times, like, can you explain how that works? No, I cannot. However, I recognize that when I started cubing, it mimics the same thought process. And I was like, yo, what if it works that way for everybody? So we came up with this whole Rubik's Cube learning style processing assessment. And you use it in your classroom, right?
Yes.
How'd that go?
And I used it in my third grade class last year, and it went phenomenal. More than half of my scholars showed to be proficient in math after taking the SBAC. And I was excited about that. They love the cube in the classroom. I assess them and then continue to let them use the cube during brain breaks and things like that. And
Very
they loved
skeptical about it at all? Like how it would work or if it would work?
No.
No?
Mm-mm. Well, that's because I'm creative. And when you're a creative, you do things that you think will work regardless of the situation. And so this is why we are disruptive educators, because we were told no several times within our classrooms.
I ain't the person to tell no.
No. And so no just means find another way to do it or find a way to make the no yes. And so my math class was pretty much gamified.
Yeah, you know what? Too many people say I'm not a math person. And so I think the gamification takes away a lot of the anxiety associated with mathing, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I said that for years. I'm not a math person. And then I had to teach third grade math, and there was no way out of it. And so I became a math person. Because kids know when you're fronting. Like, they know when you are putting on a face for them. So I was like, I better learn how to really enjoy what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they're not going to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of my favorite years of teaching. Third grade is dope. You taught third grade.
Yeah, third grade is dope.
I like third grade.
Yeah. And I love math. I love math.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I've learned to love it.
and so because I love math and seeing how boring the curriculum was, that it wasn't necessarily boring. I just didn't have how do I want to say this? I wasn't given
Autonomy?
the autonomy to do what I wanted to do with the curriculum, because of course traditional schools want you to have do things a certain way, the way they want you to do them. So I just decided to do what I wanted to do and make the curriculum fun for me, and in turn make it fun for my scholars. So that's what I did. Shout out to LeBron James, my math teacher from 7th grade, who showed me how to think outside the box with math by bringing in newspapers back in the day. We looked at the stock market in the newspaper and showed us how it applied to math. So shout out to him for doing that, for showing that creativity. And also my preschool teachers for igniting my creativity at 2 years old. Yes, my 2 years old. My preschool teachers actually taught Serenity. My daughter.
Girl. But you're just gonna be shouting out teachers, and I don't get to shout out. Listen, in 5th grade, I went to 3 different schools, and it was so hard transitioning. But those that don't know, I'm quite the neurodivergent, and at a young age, I really didn't even know what that meant, and so it was always hard for me to adjust and adapt in new environments. And in 5th grade, the final 5th grade teacher that I had, her name was Miss Hunter. But Miss Hunter, it wasn't anything that she did in particular. She was just like auntie. Like I saw myself in her, and when she spoke, I listened. And when she only had to say things one time, and if I'm not mistaken, up until that point, that was the first black teacher I had.
Wow.
So that made a difference. Listen, I grew up in the Bronx, so imagine that. Imagine going all the way to 5th grade and not having a black teacher. I had a teacher in 3rd grade who might have been black. I don't know. She was high yellow, maybe. I don't know. But Miss Hunter she was a G. Like to this day, if I ever found Miss Hunter, I would gladly thank her. Not necessarily, I never wanted to be a teacher, if I'm being honest. But so not necessarily for igniting anything like that, but really just making the classroom feel like an extension of home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was the first time I experienced that. So shout out to Miss Hunter.
All right. Well, now that we've shouted out teachers,
shout out to us.
Yeah, shout out to us. How did we start? You want to tell the people
how we started?
Yeah, how we became Team Playground Rules.
You tell us story better.
Well, we met through a mutual acquaintance, and we realized that we both were creatives, and we both were in the education space, and we were both unhappy with the current state of the education space as we were in it. And we got to talking and realized we had the same ideals, and realized the lack of creativity and the lack of genius that was in the classroom. Me more so the creativity, her more so the genius because of the neurodivergence. And so we decided that we wanted to do something about it.
Entered the Playground Rules. And it was one of those things that was like, it just felt right. It felt right. It felt like, as educators, we had what some might consider a problem. But we also possessed the solution, but we're not able to exercise it with full fidelity. So we took a huge leap of faith for starting this business. But it's been the best thing, I believe, because it's renewed my faith in what education could look like.
Yeah. And
like, I'll give an example. So my 13-year-old is neurodivergent and absolutely loved, past tense, school. And I have not seen that same level of excitement in him since probably 3rd grade. He's in 8th grade now. And I saw it recently when we were going to look at his high school, and he was so excited. But he was not excited about the school. He was excited to learn something that he was truly interested in, and something that he's been interested in his whole life. And it's like, why isn't education that way, period? Like, why isn't it that we focus on what a child is, their own zone of genius, where their brilliance thrives, and then push them full force into that direction? Other countries do it, but we're way behind the curve in that regard. So
this is where we come in.
Mm-hmm.
Because we decided to take on the challenge, and we said we are going to create the environments
Yes.
where creativity, genius, and joy flourishes. And so this is why we have the playground rules. And so our primary product would be our Rubik's Cube assessment.
Yeah.
And so do you want to talk about the Rubik's Cube assessment?
It's hard to talk about, but sure. The assessment is, there's a saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. And in watching my students manipulate a Rubik's Cube, even the ones who never learned how to solve it, I realized that they were approaching it in the same ways that they approach their work in my classroom. And so I decided to explore that a little deeper and see if there's a direct correlation. So me being fascinated just by how people's minds work and things like that, I started putting the cubes in people's hands, unsuspecting and not saying a word, and watching how they assess the cube, how they approach their solving of the cube, and then saying, this fits into one of these 4 categories. So we got what? Kinesthetic, visual, what else is it? Speaking,
verbal,
and
audio,
auditory,
oral,
auditory,
oral,
AU,
yeah, AU, oral.
Or I can't do it. But yeah, so and it worked, and it worked surprisingly well, where even adults who thought they knew how they learned, for some of them, it truly confirmed, like, oh no, this makes perfect sense. This is exactly how I approach the world and how I approach life. And one of the things it does is it gives students a certain type of agency over their own learning that allows, imagine a 3rd grade student come on up to you and saying, listen, you're doing a lot of speaking and I'm more of a kinesthetic learner. Like, what? How could you not respect that?
Exactly.
Also, go sit down and raise your hand. But you know what I'm saying? Like, how could you not respect that? And so being able to gift that to students, that will carry them a long way throughout life. Like, forget school, like just in general, being able to ask for what you want or ask for what you need and have that need met is so powerful.
Yeah, and so what we found in doing this is it also translates outside the classroom to the corporate space. How many managers want to know their employees better, or how their employees process information? Because you can give somebody who's a visual learner a document to read, they're not going to read that document. They're going to skim through it just to say that they read the document, but they're not going to really get the information that you want them to have. And so why not manage someone in the way that they process or in the way that they like to be managed? It would make for a much better work environment. People would be actually doing the things that they want to do, that they love to do, that they enjoy doing. And to me, ultimately, it just makes the world a better place. Everybody will be creating, operating in their highest form of their creative self. And yeah, so why not do that?
Yeah, with the work thing, like the corporate thing, also it allows for, I don't know, man.
With the corporate thing,
I'm articulate when I need to be. I'm not so loquacious today.
Word of the day app.
Indeed. But yeah, the folks really, they need to know that for themselves. Like, sometimes work environments become super disjointed because a person doesn't know what to ask for. They don't know how to ask for what they need. And so if you have a common language in understanding how this assessment works, then everybody's on the same page with regard to requesting what it is they need. Also, what I found super dope is, I love the idea that the cube does not require any specific skill level. It doesn't require, like, a nonverbal individual can manipulate a Rubik's Cube and still be assessed. So it surpasses, like, the inability to read or the unwillingness to read. It surpasses folks who don't understand context or whatever. Like, for people who really are just interested in playing with the cube, they all of their tails are there. It takes away the anxiety, and they just have a good time playing with the cube. And some folks, they take it a step further and they actually learn to solve it. But you don't have to learn to solve the cube. You just have to be willing to try to manipulate it, and that's what makes it fun for me, and the way my brain works.
Yeah, and we also did extensive research behind how the cube, helps with critical thinking
I'm a
and
research
problem
fanatic.
solving.
I research everything,
Yeah,
and it only further like we had some inkling, as far as like how this thing would work in gamification and all of that, but it really drove home the point that like, yo, this right here is the optimal tool for critical thinking, and where folks see a toy, we see an opportunity for extensive growth in critical thinking beyond like school years.
Beyond school years.
But yo, you can don't take our word for it. You know what I'm saying? We got a website. You can follow us at Team Playground Rules on all your social media. What's the website is playgroundrulespresents.org.
Yes.
What we got? We got TikTok, we got Instagram, we got LinkedIn, the Playground Rules on LinkedIn. We're all over the place. Come see about us. And if you have a question or something wasn't clear or you want to know a little bit more, holler at us. Or you want to be assessed.
Yes.
We can talk about that too.
Yes.
It's a good time for everybody.
Yes. Oh, also the Den, Facebook, our Facebook group, the Den for Disruptive
Educator Network, for sure. Listen, if you are a disruptor, that's the place you want to be. And if you have been toying with the idea of being a bit more disruptive, come through. We'll give you permission to go full force with it, because we make no apologies about it. Absolutely. We are Kingdom Creatives. We're here to do divine work, and we don't make no apologies about following the calling that we've been given. So that's it. We've been Team Playground Rules. It's been real.
Yes.
We hope to see you more. Like, we're gonna do more of this. Get comfortable with the format.
Yeah, we getting our feet wet with the whole being on.
And I'm distracted because I really want to help with this puzzle, but I don't even know where to start.
And I'm.
All right, y'all. Team Playground Rules.
Team Playground Rules.
At Team Playground Rules and playgroundrulespresents.org.
Hey.